To support the 41st Annual Cancer Walkathon. The event supports the Connolly Hospitality House in Farmington. Registration begins at 7 a.m. on Saturday, September 18th. The walk begins at 8 a.m. at San Juan Regional Medical Center. Walkers raising at least $50 receive a t-shirt. Find out more online at sanjuanmedicalfoundation.com. The 41st Annual Cancer Walkathon, Saturday, September 18th. The New Mexico Outdoor Economics Conference is happening in Farmington, September 29th through October 1st. The conference features panel discussions, outdoor tours, social gatherings, and top leaders from the outdoor industry. The Outdoor Company Expo will be free to attend at the Farmington Civic Center. Registration is open now at outdooreconomics.com. That's outdooreconomics.com. The New Mexico Outdoor Economics Conference, September 29th through October 1st. KSJE is supported by San Juan Regional Medical Center, here to meet your urgent and emergent medical needs, whether they are COVID-19 related or not. Medical emergencies happen when you least expect them, whether it's a stroke, heart attack, illness, or injury. San Juan Regional Medical Center's caregivers are here to provide care to you and your loved ones. Find out more online at sanjuanregional.com. "11 minutes past 8 o'clock. It is Thursday morning, the 16th day of September, 2021. Good morning, everyone. I'm Scott Michlin. Thanks for tuning in to KSJE 90.9 FM, over the air, of course, here in New Mexico. 103.3 FM if you're listening in Southwest Colorado. And if you're listening anywhere else on the planet, you're probably tuning into our website stream at ksje.com. Or maybe you asked your smart speaker to play KSJE, because that works too. Glad you're with us this morning, everybody. Welcome also to our viewers who are watching this visual radio program. It is streaming live to the KSJE Facebook page, our YouTube channel, and our Twitter account. So we're glad that you are with us as well, because coming up in the next few moments, we're going to be talking about the Growing Forward Farm with my guest, Bonnie Hopkins from the New Mexico State Cooperative Extension Service, and also kind of representing San Juan County. We'll explain what that means in just a moment, but that's coming up in the next few moments. And then later on this hour, we'll be checking in with San Juan College's Building Trades Department about some of the buildings, those houses basically, that they have built over the past few months, and we'll be auctioning them off coming up. And so we'll get details about that later on at 8:50 a.m. on KSJE. Next hour, of course, things turn classical. Our classical music program, Mick Hess, hosts Roving with the Arts. He is playing selections today from Maurice Ravel. That's coming up after the news, of course, at 9 a.m. on KSJE. And don't forget, in addition to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, we invite you to connect with us on our Instagram page as well. And if you're a podcast person, well, have we got podcasts for you on all of the popular podcast apps, by the way. Just subscribe to KSJE for free. You can find us on iTunes, Spotify, iHeart, Google Podcasts, Pandora, Amazon, Podbean, and much, much more. Check it out and subscribe, and you'll get up to date with all the latest podcasts that we produce here at KSJE. It's a sunny morning so far here in San Juan County. Outside, 58 degrees at our studios here at San Juan College. We are expecting a sunny day today with a high of 86 this afternoon, 50 overnight, sunny tomorrow with a high of 86 on Friday, 56 overnight, maybe a chance of a shower or thunderstorm in the forecast for Saturday with a high of 87 and a low near 60. But then for Sunday, 83 for a high 80 on Monday, down to 76 on Tuesday, and 81 degrees for a high on Wednesday. Overnight lows, as you can see, from tonight's low near 50 down to the mid to lower 40s by early next week, and then things warm up just a bit. But the seasons are changing. Let me introduce my guest who is here with me this morning. It's always great to have her on the radio, and even better to have her in the studio. Bonnie Hopkins is here from the New Mexico Cooperative Extension Service. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome back.
I know. I'm happy to be here.
Glad you found your way back.
I was confused about which door to go in. Between construction a few years ago and
That's right.
which door do you go in and wander down the halls, but I got it first time.
All doors lead to KSJE. That's what we say. But great to have you here.
Yeah, thank
and
you.
your work with the Cooperative Extension Service, and as I mentioned, you're also here kind of as part of San Juan County's monthly program with me, and so explain a little bit of that cooperation between the county and the Cooperative Extension Service.
Yeah, so a lot of people don't know, the San Juan County Extension Office, we house the 4-H program, and I do a lot of agricultural programs, and we work for New Mexico State University, but we are located in the county buildings, and that's because all extension offices have to have a cooperative agreement with their county administration, and so we're very blessed to have a fantastic relationship with San Juan County administration, our county commissioners, and that dates back all the way, to the early 1800s, where they pay about 30% of our agents' salaries, and they give us housing, and so we have this wonderful cooperative agreement where we're kind of county, kind of NMSU, but a little bit of both.
Right, and doing good work all over the state.
Yeah, I mean, we like to think so. There are 33 counties in New Mexico, and we're very lucky to still have 33 extension offices.
Right.
That's not the same in every state, and so we're really grateful for our state legislators and obviously county governments for continuing to support us.
Right.
Some other states have moved to regional offices, and that's not the case in New Mexico, so we're very lucky and very blessed to have that opportunity.
No kidding. Well, and the Cooperative Extension Service does so much for the communities that they are in, and you get so much information and help, I think, at no cost when you call and say, hey, I don't know what this thing is that's eating my garden, but help me. You guys can usually figure it out or help. I like to tell
people our services are prepaid.
Yeah, right, right.
So yeah, we answer a lot of questions. Right now I'm answering a lot of tree questions. We've had some bizarre insect infestations in Bloomfield and things like that. So people will call and just I help them identify weeds and insects and try to help them with management strategies. Not an expert on anything, but we have, 40 or 50 experts across the state that work for New Mexico State University, and I act as a go-between.
Right, I was going to say, if you don't know the answer, you know who to contact,
who
does. So.
Yeah, and so our job is to be an expert on our local community, and so I'd like to think that we do a really great job on that. 4-H enrollment is coming up.
Right.
Always a plug for that. 4-H enrollment starts in October. If you want to get your kids involved in our incredible 4-H program, that's coming up in October, and you just have to call the extension office and they'll send you a welcome to 4-H packet that tells you all of the 20 different clubs you can participate in and the 300 projects that we have for 4-H kids. And
wow.
It's just a really great opportunity. So that's coming up soon.
Good to
we
know.
always encourage people. Enrollment is from October to April. So it's always the saddest thing when people call us a month before the county fair and they want to get their kids involved in 4-H, and we're like, enrollment closed in October or in April.
In April. So now's the time to do it.
Now is the time.
So if your kid's all excited from the fair,
yeah,
maybe have that conversation and say, do you want to join and get ready for next year? And this will be the time to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, great. And this is for what age range for 4-H kids?
So technically it's 9 to 18.
Okay.
But we have kids as young as 5 that can sign up to be Clover Buds. And Clover Buds don't do competitive activities, but it's great to do if you have an older sibling that they can still go to the club meetings and do fun projects and things like that. So as young as 5 and as old as 18.
Okay. Very, very good. Well, that's one of the things that is happening. And then the other thing that brings you here is to talk a little bit about this big farm project that you are involved with, and the county, and a bunch of volunteers, and probably more volunteers who have yet to sign up.
Yeah, yes,
so
we need more volunteers.
Tell me about this, the Growing Forward Farm, right?
Yes, so the Extension Office is located in the county buildings on South Oliver Drive in Aztec, and there is a beautiful walking path, a half-mile walking path for the employees that they put up about 15 years ago that's kind of tucked into the county campus. And they purchased the land a million years ago, who knows how long ago, and really I thought I think they imagined that they would put some more buildings there, and then the recession hit, and then all of these things, and it just never actually came to fruition. So they put the walking path out there, and kind of irrigated the land, and never really put it to great use. And so I was bugging Larry Hathaway for about 6 years, like, hey Larry, anytime you want me to put that to beneficial use, you just let me know. And before he retired in December, he said, you know what, let's make this happen. And so we met with the county administration. We pitched our idea of creating an outdoor agricultural classroom, and this was in September of 2020.
Okay.
That we started these conversations, I guess a little bit before that. And we really had the idea of reconnecting our community with its agricultural roots and having a safe place during the pandemic and beyond to teach people about agriculture and really build back that connection. And so the county commissioners were all on board, and so was New Mexico State University. And so we created a long-term lease agreement for the 12 acres across from the extension office that's kind of tucked behind the paramedic station. We finally have an address. It's 216 South Oliver Drive.
There you go. Okay. We're showing a picture, kind of an aerial picture of what we're talking about, right? To see some of this land and the acreage that you now have, right?
Yeah.
For this kind of farm project.
Yeah, so this picture is courtesy of the San Juan County fire chiefs. They have these amazing drones that they use to take phenomenal pictures for us. So this is what the land looked like last fall when we got it. We went ahead and corrugated it and really got it cleared from weeds, and we reestablished the irrigation system, and we planted it in cover crops because it hadn't been irrigated in about 3 years.
Okay.
And so we wanted to get something beneficial growing. And so we learned a lot about the soil and a lot about the irrigation system, and that's when we really started seeking grants and funding and donations to really get the farm project off the ground. And so we've worked really hard all winter. We've done a huge irrigation repair project. We put up a beautiful barn where we can host classes and store a bunch of great stuff. We're still working on a lot of that. We put up a deer fence because there was a huge wildlife migration path that we didn't realize was there.
No, right.
So we had volunteers. We burned them all out. Putting up a deer fence, we learned that the hard way. Now we have about half
you burned
of
out the volunteers, not the deer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we didn't
gotcha.
touch the deer. The deer are fine. The deer are safe.
I want to ask you a bit about this barn that we're showing on the screen right now, too, because it's beautiful. That's a great color.
Thank you. 4-H green.
Yeah, and it looks pretty substantial. So every farm needs a barn, right?
Yeah, we've got it filled to the rafters already with equipment and tables and chairs, and we actually had a workshop in it last week.
Okay.
And I advertised it as a PowerPoint-free, pesticide applicator training because everyone is so burnt out on computers and audio visuals and just lectures. And when we really think about how adults and children, and I would say most people learn, they're hands-on learners. And we know from research that people learn and remember and comprehend so much more of what they're hearing and learning about if they have an activity associated with it. And so that's really our goal of the project. And we love that we are having the same issues that every farmer in San Juan County has, so we can educate about those issues. When we put in this irrigation system, we learned so much more. So then we can better educate the farmers in our area of our experiences, and we can all just be better for it. So we had an integrated pest management workshop where we created an integrated weed management plan. We went around and identified all of the weeds. We did a little walking tour. We learned great strategies of can you burn this? Is burning a successful treatment for this weed? And we brought our weed specialist up from Las Cruces, Dr. Leslie Beck. And we just had a phenomenal workshop where everybody learned so much more than they would have if I was just sitting there lecturing them or giving them a piece of paper and expecting them to learn, because that's not how most adults learn.
Right.
So we're really excited about all of the opportunities on the farm. We had a 4-H summer camp where the kids got to learn all about soil health and get their hands dirty. We did a really great career day where we invited all of the agricultural professionals from across the county, because we want people to know that there are dozens of incredible agricultural jobs here in San Juan County. You don't you can be a farmer, but you can also work for the NRCS. You can be a farmer, but you can also teach adjunct classes at San Juan College. And so we had amazing partners come in, and really we want these kids to come home with all of the information that they gather when they go to college or go to trade school or anything like that. We want to bring them back. And so that's another big component of the farm. And we're very grateful for the support and patience of San Juan County.
Right. Sure.
You can call Devin Neely or Mike Stark and ask them about the Lake Stark we've created.
Oh, I like that. Lake Stark.
Yeah.
Is there fishing? Is there fishing or boating?
I think that Devin's planning some fishing.
Okay. Well, that sounds about right.
But the irrigation system, because it wasn't used for so long, and it definitely wasn't used in this capacity, has had a lot of ebbs and flows.
Literally,
good things,
maybe.
Bad things.
Yeah.
And
okay.
there is a manhole in front of the county administration building. And when we have a major rain event, it floods it.
Something happens.
And so there's now a lake in front of the county administration building.
Okay.
Occasionally.
When it rains.
When it rains
often.
or when maybe we make a mistake or something
or
like that.
Irrigate.
So
okay.
Not every day.
Okay.
But it's a nice challenge. So dispatch has been made aware. It's been a thing, but it's also been a great conversation point. And
I'm sure. Well, and it's part of that learning process, right? Whenever you have a new piece of property and you're exploring and figuring out.
The farm is a new farmer business incubator. So we are getting ready to accept applications for our new farmer training program. This year we had 3 participants, and they each get a 1/4 acre of land to grow on, and then we help them along the way, identifying weeds and insects and helping them develop a strategy for planting. And so that was incredible to have 3 our pilot year. They've been very patient. We've all learned a tremendous amount. We have 8 spots available. In January, we'll start walking these new farmers through a business plan, and then they'll actually draw out a map of the crops that they want to sell. They'll figure out what market they're going to sell to. They'll apply for all of the farmers markets. They'll sell to Aaron at the food hub, and hopefully these participants can remain in the program for 2 or 3 years. And then we will connect them with our other grant program, the New Farmer Network, with available leased land in the county, because we have about 21 available farm land plots for lease in the New Farmer Network program. So we're going all around the county and trying to find fallow farmland, people that have agricultural land and water rights, but maybe are too elderly to farm it, or maybe they're not able to because of their jobs. And we want to connect that farmland with new farmers. And so we're seeing a lot of success in that program, and also hoping to build up some new farmers through the farm project. And so it's amazing because we have that walking path around it. And so we have dozens of community members and county employees that also walk along the path. And so we have little markers that talk about all of the different farmers and the different projects that we're doing. And so there's just community aspect coming from all angles. And so we're really excited. We just got a grant from the Outdoor Recreation Initiative, and we're going to be able to bus every 4th grade kid in the county to the farm next fall and the fall after.
Oh, cool.
To really get their hands in the dirt and learn about agriculture, learn about agricultural jobs, learn about healthy eating and being outside, and, recreation things like riparian areas and bird watching and hiking and all of those great things. So we're going to utilize every aspect of the farm to really hopefully build up healthy habits for our kids. And so there's nothing that's off limits for this farm. It's healthy community all the way around. And so
That's exciting.
We're really excited. We're having an open house on October 14th.
Okay.
Where we will do kind of our grand opening. The fire department's going to come and christen the barn, and we're going to bring up our administration from Las Cruces, and our county commissioners will hopefully be there. So that's from 4 to 7 p.m. on October 14th.
Okay.
And all of these things, volunteer opportunities, our newsletter, updates on the farm, all of those things are available on the San Juan County Extension website.
Very good. I know you have a Facebook page, too, where you share a lot of stuff as well.
Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
For Growing Forward Farm, and also San Juan County Cooperative Extension.
Right.
So you can always follow us along there and see all of the little victories, because we don't always put the little victories on our website.
Sure.
There's a riparian area that was designed to be a pond. And it's never had water until about a week ago.
It's not in front of the county administration
That
building.
is not
It's somewhere
Lake
else.
Stark. Yes.
Somewhere else. Okay.
This is, this is kind of in the southeastern corner.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I imagine that's more towards the river, in my knowledge of that area.
It's getting a little bit closer to the river.
Okay.
If you're looking at the image up here, it's kind of, so we have the island, which is the small loop.
Okay.
Kind of towards the trailer park in the back, and the riparian area is just to the south of that.
Gotcha.
Where there's the 3 kind of yellow trees. So it has water.
Nice.
And so sharing those little victories on social media is really exciting. You're not necessarily going to put all of those things on the website, but we share a lot of that through our stories and through our feed, and so we always encourage folks to follow us there.
Very cool. Very cool. My guest this morning, Bonnie Hopkins, is here from the New Mexico State University Cooperative Extension Office in Aztec. And of course, they work with the counties all across the state. And we were talking about the new Growing Forward Farm project that is underway in Aztec. It is near the county administration building, just a little bit further south on Oliver Drive.
Correct.
Basically, right, as you're going into Aztec. And that is got a lot of exciting potential. And I would think for these new farmers that are maybe signing up for your classes, it's a lot easier to figure out how to grow stuff on a 1/4 acre of land before you decide how to do it on your 50 acres of land.
Right. So what we're trying to do is make farming as accessible as possible. We know that buying land is not realistic for the future of agriculture. You can't go to a bank and get $500,000 to grow vegetables. That's not realistic, and that's not what farming will look like in the future. So really this lease agreement and cooperative agreements between landowners and land users is really the future of farming, especially in the state of New Mexico. We've done needs assessments asking people, why they're not farming, and most of them have had to get jobs outside of farming because the market wasn't available. So, for the last 10 years, we've been working on building up the markets and building up the farmers markets and building up the food hub and working with the schools. So now we have a lot of purchasing power.
Right.
And so the other side of that is getting more farmers. And when you can't find land and you can't find available water, that's a huge hurdle. And so if we can take down some of those barriers, and, people are going to have to work. They can't quit their day job to farm their first year. So if you can do it, start small and build on your success. That's really the model that we're looking for. Start small, have that help so that you can grow sustainably, and after 2 or 3 years, you could go to the bank or you could enter into a lease agreement and really have that confidence, because farming is hard.
Right.
And there's so many unexpected challenges that come along the way, and we really feel like building that sense of community where you're not doing it alone is a huge piece of the puzzle. So breaking down the barriers of land and water access, helping folks develop that business plan, connecting them to markets, and then building that sense of community, we hope really is the key. It's the answer to building more farmers. And we're already seeing a lot of this success at the farmers markets. We integrated into an online application process for most of the markets across the county this year through a grant through San Juan College called the Northwest New Mexico Growers Market Alliance.
Right.
And even at the Farmington market, we have almost 10 brand new vendors, farmer vendors. And so that's huge. We're seeing the results of all of these efforts of combining markets and really engaging the consumers. And so that's really the challenge to San Juan County and the public, is to make sure you're shopping at your local farmers markets. Go out on Saturday morning. There's a farmers market almost every day of the week somewhere in the county.
Right.
So if you want to have sweet corn at a cookout right now, make sure you're going to that farmers market. Kirtland on Mondays, Farmington on Tuesdays, Aztec and Shiprock on Wednesdays, Bloomfield and downtown Farmington on Thursdays, and then Saturdays are the big market in Farmington and Shiprock.
Right.
And then you can buy at the food hub on Tuesdays for Thursday pickup. I mean, there's so many opportunities that
You're
we
really
want to
making
make
it
sure.
really easy for us to do that. Yes.
We're doing our best.
You and a lot of other people. I know there's a bunch of people involved with this whole concept, but it's really been amazing to see it over the last few years, how quickly and extensively it has kind of spread across the county.
Yeah, And it really is because we have such an incredible support system, whether it's Dr. Pendergrass here at the college or Mike Stark at the county or, Rob Mays and Nate Duckett at the city of Farmington. Nobody tells us no. They're like, how can we support you? How can we be part of this? How can we make that work? And we really feel strongly that that's what makes San Juan County such a special place to live. Because you don't see that in other places. Right. You don't see that kind of support. And there's no way that we could have achieved all of the things that we have in the last 5 years without the lack of ego in our county. Everyone's just wondering how they can be part of it and how they can pitch in. It's not territorial. Just because it's happening in Aztec doesn't mean that San Juan College doesn't want to help us. So really that holistic perspective that really we're trying to make a healthier, more vibrant community for the whole area is really special, and it's been incredible to be part of.
I bet. Yeah, and it's been great to see from my perspective as well, because we've been talking about this
for a while. We've been talking about this for years.
I'm like, oh, that'll be great when it happens 10 years from now or whatever, and here we are. It happened in 3 years.
Right.
2 years.
Yeah.
And so it's been really cool to see, and it's still happening and still growing, which is what you're talking about. And you mentioned before kind of that whole, and I kind of call it chicken or the egg scenario, right? Mm-hmm. Is, if I'm a farmer, do I want to grow a bunch of crops knowing that I may not be able to sell a bunch of crops at harvest time? But what we've done, and you have done, is to create that market and that demand for crops by working with the schools and the hospital and some of those big users of food, and then say to farmers, we have these people that are ready to buy your produce. Now we just need to produce more locally grown produce, and this is how the industry and that economic part of our economy is growing, right?
Yeah, and definitely not just me. We have so many supportive partners, San Juan County Partnership and San Juan College and county governments. There's so many people that are involved in making this happen. And I think that that's the difference, because I think we've talked about this before. They tried to get this ball rolling back in the early 2000s, and it didn't gain the momentum that they hoped. And what we've tried to do differently is make sure that we're learning from everything that happened in the past. We're reaching out to other communities. We really created that holistic plan, the community action plan that we did through the Local Food, Local Places initiative back in 2018. And now we're just checking off the boxes, but also making sure that we're going back and making sure that everything is connected, that nothing is siloed or happening individually. And so, I think I got a call from the Local Food, Local Places planners the other day, and they want to focus our project as a highlight. And they had two or three things listed in their press release, and I added about 10 more.
Right.
Things
Wonderful.
that they didn't even know were happening. And so I was also surprised. I got a call about a month ago, and they were looking for sustainable local food communities and developments, and they called us to figure out what we're doing so that we can be a model for other communities. And
hey,
I was like, oh my gosh, it's happening.
That's
this
wonderful.
is happening. Like, we get to be a model for other communities now that we've gone through so much of this process. So amazing to see it all happen. There's been so much hard work that's gone into it, and I can't wait. The next piece really is this consumer demand.
Right. How
do we get everybody shopping at the farmers markets? How do we get everybody putting local food on their plate and really looking at it and saying, oh, I could have purchased these bell peppers at the farmers market instead of at the grocery store. Can you commit to buying your produce during the growing season locally and going to the grocery store for all of your other staples?
Right.
That's really our challenge, is to look at the things that you're putting on your family's table and choose to spend that money on our community, right? Because it's not just at the farmers market. It's really making that investment and that commitment to our community as a whole. Those farmers turn around and they reinvest that money into our community, and it doesn't go to the corporate leaders of a grocery store. It stays here in our community. So, that's my challenge to the community, is to really make that conscious effort to buy your produce as much as possible locally, make that investment as in your community, participate as much as you can in these efforts, and just to get involved, volunteer. We're always seeking volunteers at the various farmers markets. I could use as much volunteer labor as we can get at Growing Forward Farm, because trying to cultivate 12 acres, there's really 2 of us on staff.
Okay.
The San Juan Soil and Water Conservation District has been also instrumental. Their entire staff has pitched in. There's no way we could have built the things that we have built without them. We just finished one of our composting systems. We're building 6 different types of composting systems to actually teach people how to recycle your grass clippings instead of throwing them away and them ending up in the landfill.
Right.
We know that all New Mexico soils need more organic material to hold on to that water, that precious water that we're getting. We need to be able to hold it in the soil. And the answer to that really is compost. And so when you're throwing these things away, but you could be, recycling those nutrients, but it's hard to learn that from a piece of paper.
Sure.
You can get all of the instructions in the world, but until you physically see it or actively participate in doing it, I think it's hard for that to sink in.
Right. No, that's true.
So I'm thrilled we're going to host the Master Gardener Training Program in January. So if anyone is interested in being an actual farm volunteer and helping with the educational point, definitely look at our website for the Master Gardener training that's coming up. And they can always reach out to me if they just want to come get their hands dirty. Any day of the week, I will be there if people want to volunteer.
There you go. Very cool. It's the Growing Forward Farm in Aztec. And again, the grand opening is going to be next month, right?
Yeah, October 14th.
Okay.
From 4 to 7 p.m. We're going to have some great presentations, a little christening of the building. We'll have our administration up from Las Cruces and obviously county officials that have made this happen. And then we'll have walking tours of the farm in the various demonstration areas. We will also have our long-term landscape design plan available where we can kind of explain to people.
Cool.
We'll have our first few trees in for the historical orchard. We're putting in 50 fruit trees, 10 different types of demonstration areas from xeriscape to pollinators to composting. All of those things are going to be readily available so that you can go see as a community member what trees might be best for you to select for your landscape. We want to have tons of different activities, obviously the new farmer training program.
Okay.
So lots of great things going on.
Very good. Well, we'll look forward to it. And jet skiing on Lake Stark.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll contact Devin Neely for that.
Okay, I'm going to sign up. Great. Bonnie, thank you so much for coming in this
Thanks,
morning.
Scott.
Great to visit with you. Bonnie Hopkins from the New Mexico State University Cooperative Extension Office here in Aztec in San Juan County. My guest this morning here on KSJE. KSJE is proud to support the 41st Annual Cancer Walkathon. The event supports the Connolly Hospitality House in Farmington. Registration begins at 7 a.m. on Saturday, September 18th. The walk begins at 8 a.m. at San Juan Regional Medical Center. Walkers raising at least $50 receive a t-shirt. Find out more online at sanjuanmedicalfoundation.com. The 41st Annual Cancer Walkathon, Saturday, September 18th. KSJE is proud to support the Aztec Highland Games and Celtic Music Festival, October 2nd and 3rd at Riverside Park in Aztec. Music from Big Patty, Smelter Mountain Boys, Patrick Crossing and Devil's Dram, and featuring the Highland Games Athletic Competition. Plus, Scottish vendors, food, and clans. Find out more online at